Guyanese. Guyanese. Who, I've seen your president. I've seen them telling you what they do and how much money they spend and what happens here and what happens there. I have a little, very important thing to tell you actually. Did your government ever tell you where they get the money from? When they're campaigning, when they're saying, I did this and we built a bridge and we built roads, did they ever mention, like, if you want somebody in Akon Gaff, right? Man, me build this house, man, me take one loan from bank, and then me had a couple $1 million save up, and me build this house, like, you know? But they don't tell you that. Right away, you should suspect that their intention is to manipulate you and lie to you. Your government don't tell you where the money comes from. Do you know that 65%, all the big projects, 65% of your money, your budget, when you hear that there's a $1 trillion plus budget, you know that 65% of that budget is loans? Now, who pays the loans? And that's what we're saying here. Whose money? Who owns the money? The people of Guyana owns the money. How they get the money? The people of Guyana, every one of us, own resources. Every one of us, whatever we get in our name, that is our name. But everything else also belongs to us. The gold in the ground belongs to us. There's an arrangement. The guy who takes the gold out of the ground, he pays something that's called royalty, and that is supposed to be shared or used for the benefit of the population. He pays taxes. That is supposed to be for the benefit of the population. And there's all these things. So it's your money. Your money, also, the oil that comes out of the ground, that's your oil. The government you have and the government you will have, all you do is you pay them to manage your money and your resources. You are the boss, Guyana. You are the boss. It's funny how politics is designed to betray and is designed to fool people. So, when there's loans that are taken and debts, and we've always been taking loans and debts in Guyana, when these are taken, who repays them? The government repays them? Who is the government? I'm asking you. Ministry of Finance has 200 staff. Are they the government? No, they work for the government. Right? Who is the government? So the government is the people that you choose to manage your affairs. As a matter of fact, the only thing you do in Guyana is you choose one person, the president. That is the person you choose. The president. And you have faith that this president that you're choosing knows how to manage things in such a way that you get optimum benefits. Now, when we take loans, when the government, your government, the people you choose to manage, when they take loans, what happens? They have to repay it. And they have to repay it with interest, right? Just like how you take loans from your bank when you have a mortgage and then you pay it with interest. And then you're willing to tell that bank, listen to me, you know what happened? We win lotto. I get a windfall. I had a good crop. I had a bump of crop. So instead of paying 100,000 every month, I'll give you $2 million. So we get less debts, right? But why is it your government goes ahead full speed, taking debts in your name? It's your debt they're taking. They're taking debts in your name, knowing that you have to repay interest. You know why they do that? You know why, like, recently we've seen a big boom in everything in Guyana. All kinds of projects happening, and they're happening plentiful, and that is beautiful. But why is it happening? It is happening so that you can have this perception that things are doing well. Why is it we're having so much projects when really and truly we're not even getting returns from the oil that we're doing? And the returns that we're getting is far less than we should get. Now tell me something. Now, this guy that is calling me, you can't call me because I'm doing a live unless you want to be part of this live. And you can't do it like that. You have to add me, I have to accept you like right here. So, I'm sorry, that's a bit disrespectful, isn't it? I'll talk to you later, buddy. Now, a lot of what is happening in Guyana is being done through deals. The purpose of your government, really and truly, is to oversee. Your government doesn't work. Your government does not work. They don't do shit. The ministers, I've been to many ministers' offices in my time. You know what I see? I see a clean desk with a writing pad and a pen. And nowadays you will have a cell phone. In those days they didn't have cell phone. And they had a line phone, of course. That is what your ministers do. You go to the permanent secretary's office and you see loaded with junk all over. Right, wrong, share paper they're all about. And every other office you go to is full of stuff and full of filing cabinets, all kinds of things. Your minister's office, it has 5 chairs, nice, comfortable 3-piece set. You get one thing there for make coffee, and an empty desk. Why? Because that is all they do. Nothing. They have you give them the opportunity to go in there to ensure that your money is properly spent and the decisions are properly made. Now let me explain to you some details about how things happen in there. There are 2 kinds. So you have in your budget, you have 2 things. You have a capital budget, which is new things that your government wants to do. Things that they promise you that they will do. And then you have your concurrent budget, which satisfies the normal routine. More or less, they don't even look at that. The public servants do what they do with that. It's like it has to be spent that way anyway. And so your government, you have put them there to ask the right questions. You've put them there to probably go on a visit on a project, probably go and meet people and say, we've seen this project going on. How you feel about it? And people will tell you X, Y, and Z. And then you will have a concept that, okay, these things is going okay. Or, like now we have cell phones and we have a whole lot of report happening on social media. So, they can judge from that. And they have people also taking the news from all over the planet and bringing it right to their desk. I mean, all over. Their permanent secretaries, their designers, and they have 2 secretaries, a private secretary and a permanent secretary. That's your minister there. Your private secretary is like the person who tells them everything about everything. You know. And then your permanent secretary is the guy who does the hard work and makes sure that the ministry is managed the way it should. Okay? So, and I'm telling Guyanese this because they have this huge concept about how hard, and I love, I'm looking at these guys that go and preach on the campaign trail, and they tell you, and comrade, we have built a bridge over there like we promised. And we've done this like we promised, and that like we promised. You can believe like the thing is on their shoulders. Not true. The only thing these guys are designed to do is to keep the integrity of your affairs as like that. Like integrity. Like ensure that nobody fucks it up. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. But that's what happens all the time. And your politicians are paid to ensure that that doesn't happen. That's why they're there. That's what they promise. You know, I've noticed something. I've noticed PPP campaigning, and not for one moment have they recognized corruption. The word never uttered came out of their mouths. There is no corruption in Guyana, Guyanese. None. The cops that, you know, if you get a little accident and you're poor, well, you don't know. And the guy who up on the other side, he rich, you don't know. You done for life. You know, you don't forget. Because either take a bribe from that guy, the policeman, and he's gonna tell you a set of shit and bullshit. And if you play smart, they pressure you. Bribe not take a Guyana. What madness I attack? There are about a couple thousand contractors in Guyana. Couple thousand. A few thousand that they're in the $1 billion lane like Critic and them. Why you think Critic lost his conscience? Why you think that Critic was a great guy 4 years ago? Because he endeavored to say the truth for the people. Now he's endeavoring to say the truth for Bara Jagdeo and the elite. So why you think people start cursing him out? For that same reason. He has lost his integrity. People are not stupid. People know when you're lying. People know when you're cheating. People know when you're stealing. My job here is to put the lid on it. They know you're stealing, but they just don't know how. That's my job. Because I know you were stealing, and I know you were stealing in the 90s. In the 90s. I know that the PNC was stealing because Chedi Jagan said that the PNC was corrupt and they were stealing your money. And he was so smart, he put Bar Jagdeo in the State Planning Secretariat under Desmond Hoy. And what that guy did? He learned the art of stealing. And instead, and that's my problem with him, you guys hear me calling his name all the time. And you don't understand that I know. And many of you there in PPP know. Many of you know. He learned the art of stealing. Somebody told me that Clyde Rupchen, somebody that I know, and when I said the last video about a big bag, with some contractor had to give a big bag of money and the wife came out, I rest my case right there. But you heard me right. You heard me well. Now, this guy in State Planning Secretariat, he had bosses that stole. And he got sweet with his money. Whilst Chedi was out there preaching love for people, love for country, doing the right things, making things happen for the people, trying to alleviate all their sufferings, this young man had the wherewithal to betray that man's trust and seamlessly move corruption from PNC to PPP. Seamlessly. Up to this day, the only people that gets attacked for corruption, I remember three 3 men were fired in New Building Society. Guyanese, I want you to comment here and tell me why they were fired. Not because they were corrupt, because the government was corrupt and they were willing to say something. And that is our dilemma in Guyana. When you say something, you get nipped. They nip your bud. While Sherry is preaching in 1992 and beyond, we must nip corruption in the bud. And whilst I was thinking that God, PNC done, them madness done, them thieving done, and everything done, Bar Jagdev seamlessly merged it from PNC to PPP. Now the PPP boys start stealing too. And the few of them that had a little bit of integrity, that didn't steal, he nipped their bud. He clipped their balls. He clipped their wings. He strategically did that. He helped the PPP guys in those days, the big ones, the Noctas and the other ones, them, and the Donald Ramotars and them, the people who weren't so smart, but they were needy and greedy. You know, and he helped those guys. And he created a clique in the PPP. And the good guys like the Kemraj Ramjatan and the Moses Nagamutu and the Ralph Ramkran, they don't fucking say it, I'm saying it. They had to go. Because he strategically find reasons to kick them out. And of course he had more friends because he was helping more people. That is the seamlessness of how corruption merged from PNC to PPP. The seamlessness. And they believed in Bharat because Bharat knew about government. He understood the workings of government. Nobody else did. They were just humble men going into a ministry. I went into Nocta's office. When I tell you about a minister with one piece of paper, one writing pad and one pen, those are the guys I'm talking about. I went to Nocta's office at least 4 times. I used to go there just like, how things, buddy? That kind of thing. So I know the fuck I'm saying, man. So you dumbos that come here and try to tell me shit, look at my face. Do I look like I'm dreaming? Huh? Do I look like I don't know what I'm saying? Do I look like Bar Jagde? Susu? Do I look like that? Do I look confused to you? I'm not confused. I know, I've lived it. I've been there. I've worked with it. I know because I know. The problem in Guyana is you can't talk because if you talk, they're going to clip your balls. I remember when I fought against corruption when I was a young man in my 30s. I was so afraid that the government would come and hurt my family. They didn't do it. What they did was try to come and hurt. They tried to fire me from my job. They tried to find things that says that I am corrupt. They actually slandered me. In Region 6, they had a few people, pro-PPP people, who went around that whole region and said I was the most corrupt person in that region. I was the most corrupt overseer. And all my friends in that region, they come telling me, this one assessor, one of them sick and he dead, he must be dead now. Nice guy, he was my friend. His name is Aziz. I used to have an call name. Yes. But because these guys were stealing, and I remember in those days, he tell me by, you know, karma works, man. Karma works every time. He tell me by, you know how much money me get by? And all he was a works clerk. But people bribe him to get contracts. He say, you know how much money me get? But he was aligning with PPP at that time. We were friends. There's another guy that is still here. I'm not going to call his name. But these guys work in the system. They understand the system. All I'm saying is, when you win government, Mr. Win, Mr. Azruddin, when you win government, it is super simple. Just talk the right things. And the Amanza team, Those are people that you probably would like to have as part of your government also. Because they and you are on the same page. They want to stop the evil that is governing us. PNC and PPP have always been stealing your money, swindling your resources, corrupting government. Remember, Bharat learned from them. Everything is a deal. Everything in Guyana is a deal. It has not stopped. It has just gotten bigger. Let me give you some examples. Currently, gold is still being smuggled out of Guyana with the blessings of your government. Your government pretend now that they were sleeping when Azruddin and his father were smuggling gold out of the country. No, they were getting their share. That is not rocket science. But if Azruddin says today, I was paying these guys, then it would allow him to be culpable and probably charged before the court of law. Why you think, I'm asking you, when the PPP and the PNC, they're birds of a feather, why you think when there are many things that PNC accuse PPP of and PPP accuse PNC of, but have you ever heard any one of them hauled before the courts? And have you ever heard that the PPP try to take them before the courts because they're stealing your money? They can say how much wrong things the PPP did, the PNC did. They take lands here, and they do this, and they corrupt the budget, and a whole lot of fuckery. And they're talking about it. And they're telling you. You know who's the fool? You. Not them. You're the fool. They talk so that you can be fooled. Not because they want to represent you, or if they wanted to represent you, PNC would have ensured that a lot of corruption in the PPP, right, like they always talk about, were hauled before the courts, proven and fixed, and somebody paying back the Guyanese people their money. Never happened. Never happened. It will never happen on the PPP and PNC. Never. The PNC, they say how PPP corrupt. They had Soku. 4 years they were had in government. They hauled Bharat before Soku. They tried to disrespect and humble them. But Bharat get money. Who Soku get? Some little poor people. And Harman had no integrity. Granger, I think he had a lot, but he was manipulated, marginalized, and fooled. That's me saying that. How do I know? I was in Guyana. I was a contractor in those days. And in those days, when corruption was happening, what you don't know is that me, this Kulibai, get one whole set, that whole region, and me a friend. The only person that me wasn't friend was the few people who were head of departments that were corrupt. And one of them named Rupesh. He was the engineer then. I call name, man. What am I going to do? Are you kill me? Because I like hearing name. He was the engineer then. He thief. Couple $1 million in a thief. Contract the game and he give them blessings. He asked me to tie up a runnings one day. And that was the end of me and him. So those are people that they marginalize you. If you don't comply with them, and that is what happened to Azruddin. Azruddin refused to comply with a request from Bharat, and then Bharat sell him out to Reuters so that he can stay clean, You remember how he was? When the Vice News people were there? He sat way over there. And he said, I only work with the government. My role in all this is the government. But when you got to give bribe and you got to tie up the runnings, Sue knows exactly how much you got to give and how much he will give you because me and Sue attack. And that's how the fuckery happens in Guyana. How? Could it be blind, you know? No, but some of you are so freaking like black people in the 40 years ago, and I hate that. The black people 40 years ago saw Barnum doing a whole lot of bullshit, and up to the day one, two of them attacked. You know, he did good. He had good intention. Of course he had good intention. I agree with that. I agree with that. Every politician that goes in there has good intention. But when they get to the fuckery, when they get to the real thing and they get the power, the devil takes over. And that is what happens every time. That is why you need to change your government every session. Because so that they don't know, they don't think, they do the right thing the first term, you know. Every government, they try their best to do the right thing their first term. Kick them out the next term. You have to be absolutely certain that they're a Chedi Jagan and he has control. Or a Granger with control, not a Granger without control, because Granger had none. And the roughneck and the evil in PNC did what they had to do. They only looked nice for that term. And poor AFC, and I'm saying this, poor AFC, them just come in government, them poor too. Then they get plenty money. Their salary mattered. You know, their salary mattered. And the jobs mattered. And because of that, they stayed with PNC, lived through the corruption, and were angry when they got kicked out strategically. There's so many sad things happening. Guyanese people, I'm asking you to put your weight. I wish, I'm telling you my honest feelings. I wish if Amanza and the Forward Guyana team had a coalition with the Win team. The Win team has money. The Amanza team don't have money. But they also have a lot of good people with good intentions. And I'm saying this openly. I wish if those parties had what it takes to coalesce. Because Guyana would have seen a great national front. And Indians would have voted for that front too. Because Indians are supporting, a lot of Indians who are fed up with PPP and know the evil that is happening within them, they're going to vote for Azruddin Mohammed. One of the reasons why they probably would vote for him is because he has the right skin color. But I think, and I can see that Azruddin is for everyone. Am I selling him? I am seeing that he is the only option you have in Guyana. For truth, transparency, and the next videos I'm putting out here is going to tell you how Guyana can really be beautiful. With every one of you walking around with a heart full of pride and love and happiness. Not wondering and not looking over at the other race and thinking, them that. You know, when we can recognize that we are all one people created by one God and have one purpose. And those that don't want to serve God, their only purpose is to ensure that all of Guyana has the blessings and benefits that are due to them. Finally, I'm telling you, finally, your PPP government does big projects, steals big. 30% according to Azruddin Mohammed and myself. Somewhere between 20 and 30% of your money is lost. And the goal that they talk about, Azruddin Mohammed, gold is still smuggling out. That Jagmohan guy is the biggest gold dealer in Guyana. I'm asking you this. You think him and Bharat are friends today? Maybe not, right? I'm going to leave you with that fucking question. You Guyanese, do you think if the biggest gold dealer was protecting PPP and Bharat, and Nazar Mohammed said that he was helping Jagan from day one, and Bharat, who continued from there, don't you think that he knew anything about gold smuggling? My opinion here is that whilst he knew about gold smuggling, not only did he know about gold smuggling, he asked for his share and he got it. But something changed. And I'm telling you this. I think and I believe that God is trying to help us to fix things here. Your job is to help God fix those things. Guyanese, I'm going to leave you here. And I'm going to thank you very much for watching. And I'm going to ask you, please, each one of you that sees this video, share it to at least 10 friends, if they like it or not. Because if Guyana doesn't know the truth about what is transpiring, then we're doomed again as a nation for 5 more godforsaken years. And by then, Bharat would become Hitler. And not only will the death of Adriana Young look like nothing at all happen, not knowing that the pleas of the Guyanese people for the FBI to investigate. You know why they can't bring in the FBI? The day she died, the very next day I came out with a video. I said Bharat will never bring in the FBI. You know why? Because people in government are part and parcel of that business. You see how they bring in that Dumbo? Like I predicted everything that they're gonna do, and they did just that. They brought in a Dumbo from Canada. These guys are so shameless and disgusting that you have there, and you Indian people cannot see it. You know how sad that is? I'm appealing to the people that are educated. Forget about that one. I wanna know nothing, man. You people are educated. Don't you have the perceptive ability to read between the lines? You ones that went to UG. You know why Bharat don't like, you know why it's easy for you to get out of this country when you're educated? He don't need educated people. All he needs is his dumbos that will vote for him because of the skin color. And the dumbos vote for him for skin color. And he has your money to manage and control. Because he knows he can manipulate people who are uneducated, who are not willing to see the truth, who hide behind falsehoods. And they hide behind this big thing, you know, PPP, big thing, PNC, big thing. You know, they hide behind these walls. I remember the poem of Rabindranath Tagore. I'm not getting there. Thank you very much, Guyanese, for those guys watching. I'm begging you, please share these videos. Share them as much as you can. Help Guyanese to bless Guyanese. And let's hope that something shifts. That is not, and the people that are, you know, Coolie and Blackman, are you really fuck up this country? Are you because of your race and your racism? Are you get me, poor me? 60 years and counting, just suffering mentally and psychologically, because there's never a time when anything is equitable and equal and fairness happens in that country. Never. Bar Jagdev said it. He said under the PNC, every time ExxonMobil find oil, Guyanese should be very sad. He said it. But he said it when he was standing in the opposition. But as soon as he got sitting in the seat of power, what did Bharat do? He got 7 more oil projects and did nothing different than what the PNC did. All I'm saying is, if PNC Whenever you give a contractor a concession or an investor a concession, he pays you. It happens all over the world, Guyanese, and Kuli people put that in your pipe and smoke it. So Bart was suggesting then that the PNC were corrupt and they were taking bribes. He was suggesting it, but he doesn't say it openly because they can sue him, you know. But he went ahead and signed off on 7 more projects. So if they were stealing, what is he doing? He's just signing his name and ExxonMobil don't give him nothing? Eh? ExxonMobil, I want you, all of you educated Kuli people, go and read up on ExxonMobil and how they treat the rest of the world and how the people that are in power takes money from them, are super rich, and the rest of the nation lives in dire poverty. And everybody is happy with that because ExxonMobil has its offices in Texas. The Americans look out for the Americans. Not that integrity doesn't matter to them. They will. But they wouldn't fight against you, Guyanese. I think Trump is a good man and Trump would really, really want something different. He would understand Azruddin Mohammed's plight because he was in that place before he got elected. He would understand Azruddin Mohammed's struggle. And he would understand the corruption under PPP because he saw it and he's changing it in America. And I'm appealing to the God Donald Trump for whatever influence he has to try and make that difference in Guyana, if there's any influence or anything he can do. Because a lot of Guyanese did vote for him also, and they recognize his value. Because Guyanese like to know, you see, when you come in America and you pay taxes, you become responsible because you know your money. You don't want to see it swindled and wasted. Alright? So much so for now. God bless Guyana. Thank you very much. Love to all Guyanese. God bless you. And I'm praying that He bless me too. Thank you. Bye-bye.